Our guest this evening is Keith Wallen. He's the guitarist for Breaking Benjamin. He's also a solo artist, and he has a new song titled Dream Away. We're going to hear it before the hour's over. We're definitely going to talk about it. But before we get into any of the new music, we're speaking on a very important day, right? It's Inauguration Day. Biden was sworn in 2 hours ago. Any thoughts on where we are as a nation on this January 20th? Like, where's your head at today?
Oh, man. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, it's an important day. Yeah, I woke up a little bit late, and so I didn't see the actual swearing in, but I'm happy that everything went peacefully and there weren't any events. So super relieved about that.
That's a nice, safe, non-political answer. Okay, fair enough. I was reading about your early years and how Metallica's Black Album, to be specific, was a game changer for you. But I know that your father was also a musician. So I'm trying to gauge. I mean, I read that once you heard the Black Album, you're like, yes, I want to be a musician. I'm like, but wait, your dad was a musician your entire life growing up. How did those things shape you?
Well, my dad always used to listen to Frank Sinatra when I was a little kid. And, so the house was always kind of filled with that kind of music, big band, crooner kind of music. And which is funny because at the time I wasn't really into it. But nowadays, now that I'm kind of an adult, quote unquote, I guess I kind of appreciate that kind of music a bit more. So, it's cool. He was always super encouraging to me for, pursue music and, especially, singing and, being a vocalist himself. He was super encouraging of that. So that was great. And I think eventually as I grew up, middle school, high school, I started to get into the rock music. I had a friend that was super into playing guitar, and I'd go over to his house and he'd be like, yo man, check out this riff. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then, I thought to myself, dang, I need to get a guitar so we can jam. And so that's eventually how that started. And, he showed me a couple songs, how to play them. And I was off to the races after that.
So follow-up question, best Frank Sinatra song in your opinion?
Oh, man. Oh, there's so many good ones. There's so many. I mean, there's one for every mood. I guess New York, New York. I think that's what it's called. I know I'm not showing my fandom.
Is it I wanna be a part of it in old New York? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. It's awesome. It pumps me up.
It is a beautiful
I'm like,
song.
yeah.
You should be doing the singing here, by the way. There is no reason that those words should have just come out of my mouth when we have you on the show, but that's okay.
No, that was good. That was a good rendition, though.
Keep the lies coming. I know you were in Copper, right? You were also in Adelita's Way before joining Breaking Benjamin as part of the reformation. And as they say, there's that saying, when a door closes, another door opens, but there's usually a lesson learned somewhere along the way. What would you say was the biggest takeaway for you from both of those bands before getting to Breaking Benjamin?
Well, both those bands were different experiences unto themselves. Really, one thing I learned was just to kind of appreciate the moment, because, looking back to those moments at the time, there was some hard times, especially my first band, just not making a lot of money, just kind of roughing it out there. Lots of times, you book shows and there's just not a whole lot of people there because it's, you're a new band, you're kind of trying to get your name out. But, I look back now and man, they were such fun times, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. At the time you're like, man, we gotta keep, you're constantly trying to keep climbing the ladder and get out there. But, it was great, because it's just my friends and, we kind of built it from the ground up, and the whole experience was amazing. And then even with Adelita's Way, it's the same kind of thing. We had some really fun shows, and it was great touring with those guys. So yeah, that's really what I take away from it. I appreciate those moments and realize that, they were all kind of chapters to the story of my life and my career. So I appreciate them.
And it sounds a little bit like, be in the moment. Don't always be thinking of the next step, like actually enjoy that. Maybe it is a simpler time before you blow up and all of those pressures that come along with it. So be in the moment, have some fun. That's what I heard out of that.
Absolutely. I feel like, a lot of musicians, I mean, even myself included, you're constantly thinking of how do I get to, the next thing, and you just kind of got tunnel vision. And I mean, which is good. It's good to have, try to have a good work ethic and all that stuff. But, there's just a lot of stuff to kind of stop and appreciate and take it all in at the time. So,
yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
So you put out an EP in 2014. You've put out some singles since. Let's talk about the new song, Loudwire, premiering the video today on the site. That's why we held this interview for a few days. We wanted that to sync up. So tell us about Dream Away. I know you've done co-writing for Breaking Benjamin. You write for yourself. So I feel like I'd be the worst co-writer ever because I would keep all the good stuff for myself. So how do you separate that?
Well, I think that, Breaking Benjamin has kind of a certain sound, and I feel like what I would naturally write for, my own stuff, I'm a little bit more free to kind of explore different sounds and different elements to the songs. So it's like one thing with Breaking Ben, because it has a signature sound, I really try my best to kind of honor Ben's vision, because it's his baby, so I want to do my best to kind of do right by him and do right by the fans of Breaking Benjamin. So really that's kind of how I separate the two.
So what inspired Dream Away lyrically? I know some people don't like to talk about lyrics. Others are okay talking about what the song is about. What do you feel comfortable sharing?
Well, I think that, we've all had kind of a tough year. With everything happening in the world, COVID, everything, a lot of us were kind of left to our own devices, for better or for worse, in our houses, quarantining or whatever. So you're kind of just sitting there, you're thinking of, man, how do we get out of this? How do I get out of this? How do I escape this frame of mind? Because a lot of it was just a lot of bad news every day for a while there. And it was tough to take and tough to read, and just a real exercise in trying to maintain mental health. So I guess it's just kind of like, sometimes you just kind of want to get away, even if it's just imagining that, things can get better and that hope is still alive and still something that can be nurtured. So that's really what the song was about, not giving up on hope and just positive horizons.
And is it part of like you've been doing the singles thing lately. Are you working on another EP or record or what are you doing? What's your vision beyond, or maybe your vision is just to put out a song whenever you damn well feel like it?
It's funny that it's, the whole, format and whole, how everything goes down these days has changed. It's like a real single oriented kind of, algorithm, I guess, that's happening now. And, I guess my previous releases, I had the EP and since then I've released subsequent singles here and there. But this time around, this is the first single of a full-length album. So I'm super excited about that. And I think that should be coming out sometime in the spring. I wish I had an exact date, but I do not. Should be sometime spring 2021. You got to keep people's attention these days. So you got to kind of keep releasing things in kind of a staggered effect. So I guess that's been my plan thus far. But this time around, it's kind of the back to the normal way of doing things. I want to put out a single, maybe put out another single, and then, have an album come out.
Full album. That's exciting. So I'm sure at this point, you probably don't have a name or too many details to share outside of it's coming.
Well, I do. I can say this. I'm super excited and super terrified. Super terrified. I mean, even Dream Away came out this past Friday. I was so terrified the whole day, just Thursday leading up to midnight. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's really happening. Looking at the clock all day, counting down. But thankfully, it came out, and everybody's response so far has just been so amazing. And I'm so thankful and grateful for everybody who's checked it out. So far, so good.
That's so crazy. I would think you would have kind of less pressure and worry because you have your other gig. You've done this before. What is it that scares you? The reaction?
Well, I think, when, with Breaking Benjamin, it's a brand name. Yeah, it's known. There's a history of success. Yeah. I've got, 4 other great musicians that are involved and got my back, and we've got each other's backs. And, we're all working toward the same goal. But with this, it's just, oh man, I'm out by myself. This is my heart and soul just out on display for the world to see and hear. So, yeah, it's a little nerve wracking, but at the same time, look, this is what I've wanted to do my whole life. Even back to how we were talking before about being a kid and listening to music. I would have never dreamed that I would have had an opportunity to be in a successful band and to be able to release my own music. So it's a real blessing. I'm super, super grateful for the opportunity. But at the same time, yes, it's terrifying.
I love it. You feel a little vulnerable. It happens at times.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We'll wrap on this one. Basically, what is going on in Breaking Benjamin land? I know you guys had to cancel your massive summer tour as every other band did. There was Aurora. Have you been writing? Has there been any discussion about returning to the road? What can you tell us in terms of the latest?
Yeah, I think, we were super, super fortunate to kind of get that last tour in the books. I mean, we ended right at the beginning of March, and 2 weeks later, we all know what happened, and so it was really crazy for us that we were able to just finish that up. And like you said, yeah, our whole tour was canceled, and it was such a huge bummer. But obviously, we all want to be safe, and so we're hopeful that at some point, hopefully things will start opening up. Everything just still kind of looks bad right now.
Yeah.
But we're hopeful that things can start to clear up and people can start booking some shows. And once that happens, I think we'll try to get out there. But as far as writing goes, we're always writing, even just back during previous album cycles. We're constantly kind of stockpiling ideas and writing and sending stuff back and forth. And so, even though it's terrible that, we've had this forced pause of the industry, on the other side of that, I try to take the positivity away from it, is that, we wouldn't have time any other situation to kind of have the time to write and work on stuff. So we're all kind of working on our own individual things and projects. I've got my solo stuff, and of course we're all just kind of sending in ideas for Breaking Benjamin stuff too. So it's a never ending thing.
Never ending is a good thing. Solid employment.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, Dream Away is the name of the new song. It's by Keith Wallen. You can check out the video right now, loudwire.com. We'll keep our ears peeled for the latest from Breaking Benjamin land. And Keith, thank you so much. It was a pleasure getting to know you a bit.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.